Hello everybody, this is Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films, and that was some footage from the Prelinger archive that we helped kind of get online. It's a Labor Day parade, San Francisco, from the 30s probably, and you'll see why that's important in San Francisco. But at first, let's dip our toes in the late 70s, early 80s, with a film about wages and production. It's Labor Day, in case you don't know. So, here we go. Enjoy.
The people who live on Market Street, you gotta see what they do. The people who live on Market Street and what they're taking you through. Is economics a treat? So take your seat, here comes Market Street. Here comes Market Street. Here comes Market Street.
Eleanor's Furniture Company, my company. I've been making, well, handcrafted furniture for a long time. We're making money now. But it wasn't always that way. Last year, business got so good, I hired Julian to assist me. You know, help me out in routine things so I could pay more attention to running the business. But let me tell you, he hasn't done too well. See this? It's a Julian memo. He's kind of cute, though. Always these ambitious new schemes to improve the shop. It's getting so I hate to go out there anymore. I'm afraid of what I'm going to find.
Yep. Magnificent. Real talent. Not everyone can do black letters like these.
No, Julian. We don't do that. We can't do that.
But, Eleanor, look at that queue. Have you ever seen a better queue?
That's not it. We can't hire another finisher.
But, Eleanor, there's a lot of work to do around here.
Believe me, with what finishers are getting, it won't pay. Now, you try to find something else to do, huh?
Okay.
Most of my problems with Julian are over trying to find people to hire. Thing is, you can't hire any old person at any old price. How many people want to work is affected by the wage we pay. The first thing I told Julian about hiring was we want to pay the going wage, not more, not less. But Julian has to learn by experience, and for him, that means learning from mistakes.
Hey, gang, guess what? We're having an addition to the family.
You mean you, Eleanor? That's terrific!
No, our family, here in the shop. We're in the market for a couple of new sanders.
Yeah? What you gonna pay?
I don't know, plenty.
So what does he do? He offers too high a wage. Imagine this place.
Oh, cute. Next. You mean that's it? Move on, please. Next. But I didn't even show you my sanding. Gee. Oh, isn't that lovely?
Wait till you see this. With what you've got to pay, Codner's coming out of retirement. Oh, it's a sensation. With a turn and a twist, I sanded like this.
Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Don't I know you from somewhere? Bernie's trade school, class of 49. Well, never mind. You're hired, and you. Yay!
Seemed they were everywhere trying to get jobs, on the phone, popping out from behind cabinets. But did Julian take that as a signal? Oh, no. He stuck with that high wage and hired too. But when payday rolled around, what did we take in last month? This isn't it. Oh, Julian, what am I going to do with you? There you are.
Oh, hi there. What's up?
Payday, Julian. Payroll. That's what's up. Come back here, Julian. You not only hired 2 new Sanders, you paid them too much money. That's why everyone wants to work here.
Oh, personality, charm. That's what we have here.
No, losses. That's what we have here.
But I raised the prices and just passed the higher cost on to the customers.
No, we didn't. Setting a higher price on your furniture doesn't mean all your customers are going to pay it. You can't just pass on higher costs. Look! Wait until you see it. It's wonderful.
But is it you?
Here. Like it?
How do you explain it? It's so interesting. Does it swivel?
Oh, does it swivel? Whew, that's a bit too much. Julian, come here.
And what can we do for you?
Is something wrong with my eyes or your price?
Oh, that. That is the new price. Costs are up.
That's not the price I saw a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, but look at it. Not a splinter on it. Smooth, sanded to perfection. And that's not by accident, you know. New Sanders. Oh, they have such grace, speed.
But the wages, do you know what we're paying them? More than the wage Sanders are getting other places, the going wage. That's why costs are up. So if you want to pay them too much, go ahead. I don't have to buy your furniture. I'll go to Lucky Deal. Their prices are better. Come on, Lou.
Maybe I'll buy something. No one else makes chairs like these. Not at Lucky Deal. I was gonna buy 4 for my dinette. I guess I'll just buy 2.
Sure. Julian tried to cover the higher wages. But we can't take on a higher cost, like paying a higher wage than our competitors, and pass it on to the customers. They responded to the higher prices in a very predictable way. They bought less from us and more elsewhere. I thought that taught Julian the importance of paying the going market wage. But when I told him to hire a new carver, what do you think he did next? He went overboard and offered a lower wage, lower than the going competitive wage for carvers.
A little off the earlobe.
A little off the earlobe.
A little off the earlobe.
There you go. Distinctive.
You're hired.
Oh, Julian, do it right.
$25 a day.
Only 25 bucks a day? You've got problems.
25 bucks a day.
That's no wage. I could get $40 a day as a carver from other employers. I'm gonna carve a place for myself someplace else. On those wages, you may get some hack, not me. You've got a lot to learn about competition. You'll have to meet the going wage. Julian has to compete with all the other people who might want my carvings.
Don't get upset with my little sister. Working here's got to be worth it to her.
Anyone who might hire me as a carver is competing with all the people who might want me for any of the other things I could do instead.
I could have been a cook.
She could have been a cook.
I could have been a shoe shine lady, long as I liked what shoe shines paid me. I could have been a waiter, or if the wage were greater, I could have been a secretary,
Something that's more pecuniary.
I could have been a sculptress, I could have been a bus driver, I could have been a juggler, anything I wanted to be, I could be.
Everyone tries to choose what's best for themselves. Me? I tried a paper route, but I earned more as a stock boy. You? Well, you gave up working at Lester Station because Eleanor offered you enough.
If not, I would have stayed at Lester's.
But are you worth what you're paid? Are you worth it?
It's gotta be worth it.
It took a lot, but Julian learned about the supply of labor. You pay the competitive going wage.
Actually, it's the coming wage, because it keeps us from going away.
You offer more, and you're swamped with workers. You offer less, nobody shows. But he still has more to learn about our demand for labor. The number of workers I hire is affected by what that going wage is. Who's there?
It's me.
Me who?
Me. And yeah, you better come quick. Survey this situation.
How did you get in here?
The sign in the window. I'm hired.
What did you do? You put up a sign. Twice I asked you not to.
But I hired him at the market wage for finishers. Not too high and not too low.
Julian, pay attention. I am going to show you something about our demand for labor and the number of people we want to hire at that wage. Now, before I had any finishers in the shop, I sold unfinished furniture and took in $200 a day. Then one day I decided to try selling some finished furniture, and I hired one finisher. And that finisher increased the value of our product and sales to $270, $70 more than before. So I tried two finishers. At the end of the day, I had furniture sales of $330, $60 more than with just one. The $60 value added by hiring a second finisher was an increase, but less than the $70 increase when I had just one finisher. So I hired another finisher that made three. Then I had furniture worth $380 by the end of the day, $50 more than with just two. Three finishers were worth $50 more than two. I estimate that a fourth finisher would also increase value in sales, but only by $40 a day. Every time I hire another finisher, the increase in value in sales gets smaller. Now you can see why it pays to hire only three finishers. Look, finishers' wages are $45 a day. With the first one, my sales are $70 larger. I pay him his wage of $45, and that leaves $25 for other expenses. With the second finisher, sales are $60 more a day. I pay him $45, and that leaves $15 to help cover the other expenses. For a third one, the added value of the furniture is only $50. I still can pay his salary, but there's only $5 left over. All the leftovers help pay for other expenses. But if I had to hire a fourth finisher, he'd increase the value by only $40. And if I pay him $45, I'd be losing at least $5 on him.
So, ta-ta.
Ta-ta! So, my customers' demand for my products and the market wage for employees pretty much control how many workers I demand and can profitably employ. Phew. Thank goodness. I think Julian understands.
Hey, that's my model, don't you know?
Sure. Just testing.
Now, how do you expect I can paint it with a bite in the middle?
Just turn it around. Besides, you can always use your imagination.
You're at it again, eating?
You don't like it?
How anyone can grab food all day. Brussels sprouts, cheddar cheese, cherry cheesecake, caramel-colored donuts.
This is not just food. It's models for the furniture.
Between your eating the models and my always getting the heavy stuff.
Now, fellas, come on, a little more cooperation, huh?
No, Julian, a lot less cooperation. I was going to leave this job at the end of the summer anyway, but I'm gone now.
I'll bet you think I'm going to hire another stock boy, huh? Wrong. I'm going to ask Eleanor what to do. Eleanor.
Who's there?
Me.
Me who? Oh, come in.
I got bad news. Lance quit just now. Now, who should I hire?
Julian. That's good news. Now I don't have to lay off one of the stock boys.
That's good news? Laying off a stock boy? We got furniture to move out there.
Guess what? Big bulletin. The minimum wage just went up. So I've got to pay stock boys more now. So I want less of them. Now it's cheaper to buy a machine. And I did.
That is it.
It's a
Forklift. It's a forklift. It's a green forklift.
It'll pay for itself.
It'll do that, too.
Oh, it'll do anything.
Well, then maybe we should get another one, yeah?
I am buying this machine to replace the stock boy, Lance. And now, with the new high wages for stock boys, it pays. This machine will substitute for some of that more costly labor.
They don't have a machine that can replace me, do they? I mean, could they? No, they couldn't. A mechanical Julian?
Depends on what your wage rate is, Julian. For each type of worker that an employer hires, the going wage is very important. If an employer pays more than the going wage, he'll be swamped with people switching from other firms. Not only that, customers won't pay enough to cover the higher wages. Like when Julian tried to cover the Sanders wages by raising the price of the stools. If employers offer less than the going market wage, people will work elsewhere. The market wage must compensate people for the other things they could have done. The amount of labor demanded depends upon the value that service adds to production. The greater the number of workers, the less the value another worker adds. Like any other employer, I add employees as long as the increased value of sales covers the wage. The higher the market wage, the fewer workers we demand. We employers find substitutes for some of those more costly workers. But what a going wage is depends on demand and supply. The demand of all the employers, not just me, and the supply of people with those skills.
If you're a wise employer, the help you want will depend on the wage. And that's how you gauge how many guys you'll hire and how much worth to the value of things a new worker brings. The people who live on Market Street, you gotta see how they act. You're looking at economic fact. The economics repeat what people do. Here on Market Street.
So, I love that film. It has at least 2 good songs. Toe tappers? I don't even know if we're doing the toe tapping thing anymore. I mean, we should, at least internally. I don't know if I'm going to compete with Found Footage Festival because those guys have too many weird rules. But yeah. There it is. It lays it all out. Wages and production. And they replace a stock boy with a forklift. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We have so many forklift safety films that talk about the dangers of forklifts. They're wonderful, but they mangle and kill and all that stuff. So she didn't talk about the insurance that they had to carry, extra insurance they had to carry for that. Fascinating. So this next film is a history film. It's pulled from an ABC doc about FDR, and then I guess, and those are coins in my dryer. I tried to get them out. I really did. Anyways, so this film is edited down from a longer piece about FDR, and talks about labor, and specifically the history of labor in a very specific period of time, and it explains why a Labor Day parade in San Francisco is so important, because there were some horrible strikes that took place and some really bad behavior, and it was not good. Here it is. Labor Comes of Age. Enjoy.
In January 1911, FDR starts his first term as state senator. 3 months later, the deplorable conditions of sweatshop labor are brought to the nation's attention. "148 persons, mainly women and children, are burned to death as a fire sweeps through the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in New York City." The New York State Legislature immediately appoints a factory investigating committee, and when it introduces legislation favoring workmen's compensation and factory inspection laws, one of its most fervent supporters is the 29-year-old Franklin D. Roosevelt.
In the year 1911, Samuel Gompers, Robert F. Wagner, Alfred E. Smith, and I were labeled as radicals when we fought for and finally succeeded in passing a bill through the New York State Legislature limiting the work of women in industry to 54 hours a week.
As late as in the 1920s, the federal government continues to give labor scant recognition. Labor gives its own unions scarcely more. Less than 6% of American workers are organized. Over the years, FDR's convictions grow stronger that workers have rights which should be protected by law. In 1928, he becomes governor of New York.
I call for legislation to guard the toilers in the factory and to ensure them a fair wage and protection from the dangers of their trades, to compensate them by adequate insurance for injuries received while working.
When FDR assumes the presidency in 1933, he begins by making an unprecedented appointment. As his Secretary of Labor, FDR appoints the first lady cabinet member in history, Frances Perkins. To a reporter who asks whether she will not find her sex a handicap, Miss Perkins replies, "Only in climbing trees."
Most important single concept is the idea of keeping up the wage earner purchasing power. For without high wage earner purchasing power in the United States, we cannot maintain business or industry or our population in the way in which American standards demand.
The overwhelming majority of the workers of America understand, as do the overwhelming majority of employers of America, that this is no time to seek special privilege, undue advantage, or personal gain, because we face today a crisis.
To assist economic recovery by raising the buying power of the American worker, FDR sponsors the passage of the National Industrial Recovery Act.
I seek definitely to increase the purchasing power of the American people. Your government hopes that the building up of wages and the shortening of hours will result in an increase in the number of persons employed. Workers are here given a new charter of rights, long sought and hitherto denied.
Buried in the heart of the NRA is Section 7A, which grants the right to labor to bargain collectively.
Section 7A says that workers can choose representatives. Now, if they want to choose the Ahkoond of Swat, they have a perfect right to do so. If they want to choose the Royal Geographic Society, they can do that. They have a free right to choose their representatives.
The passage by Congress of the act arouses a storm of controversy. Private diehards, Roosevelt is a traitor to his class. He has never met a payroll in his life. He has no right to hold any opinion about labor. He doesn't know anything about it.
It didn't surprise him to find that there were things that he didn't know anything about. He'd never been inside a tenement until I took him. He never had the feeling of superiority that I think people expected of someone with his economic and social background.
As the days roll by, it becomes increasingly clear that 7A is too vague. The rights of labor are not always recognized by industry. Labor becomes more impatient.
Fellow workers, we want peace and prosperity in this country here. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're going to have.
1934 opens with isolated explosions. Then strikes become general across the land. In Minneapolis, the Teamsters strike effectively paralyzes the city, and class war threatens as the Yale Club of Minneapolis leads an anti-labor march in which 2 strikers are killed. In West Virginia, John L. Lewis calls a series of strikes against mine operators.
If the soldiers come, the mine workers will remain peacefully in their homes, conscious of the fact that bayonets in coal mines will not produce coal.
Our industrial recovery has been to some extent retarded by strikes. I would not minimize the inevitable losses to employers and employees and to the general public through such conflicts. But I would point out that the extent and severity of labor disputes during this period has been far less than in any previous comparable period.
In Georgia, Governor Talmadge sets up concentration camps for strikers. In New England, a textile trade journal says, a few hundred funerals will have a quieting influence. San Francisco is virtually immobilized when the longshoremen under Harry Bridges strike. Says Bridges, we workers have nothing in common with the employers. We're in a class struggle.
In the San Francisco strike, a lot of people completely lost their heads and telegraphed me, for God's sake, come back. Everybody demanded that I sail into San Francisco Bay, all flags flying and guns double-shotted, and end the strike. They went completely off the handle. Labor has got to learn by going through the actual processes and not by interference from the federal government or from the president or from United States troops. The best customer of American industry is the well-paid worker. Our aim must be to achieve and maintain a national economy whose factors are so finely balanced that the worker is always sure of a job which will guarantee a living wage. The wage earners of America will not ask for more. They will not be satisfied with less.
The NRA simply isn't strong enough to enforce the rights of labor. And the Senate passes a bill introduced by Senator Robert F. Wagner of New York City on February 21st, 1935. On July 5th, it becomes a law. Officially called the National Labor Relations Bill, it provides supervised union elections in industrial plants. It creates a judicial board to weigh disputes between labor and management.
The National Labor Relations Act is now the law of the land. We shall see the dawn of a new era of peace and justice for all in our economic life.
Says the Oklahoma Manufacturers Association, the NLRB will out-Stalin Stalin, out-Soviet the Russian Soviets. Says the Communist Daily Worker, it will be a weapon to destroy the power of the workers.
A better relationship between labor and management is the high purpose of this act. By assuring the employees the right of collective bargaining, it fosters the development of the employment contract on a sound and equitable basis. It seeks for every worker within its scope that freedom of choice and action which is justly his.
In the summer of 1935, American labor unions disagree as to whether they should organize by crafts or by entire industries. John L. Lewis, head of the United Mine Workers, David Dubinsky, president of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, and Sidney Hillman of the Amalgamated Clothing Workers break with the American Federation of Labor. They form the CIO. FDR is careful not to alienate either of the warring labor factions. He walks a political tightrope between the AFL and the CIO. Both have large votes, and the 1936 election is coming up.
We earnestly hope that the distinguished representatives of the American Federation of Labor will give intelligent analysis to our proposals rather than to continuously attack our motives.
Anticipating a Democratic victory and a favored place for the CIO, John L. Lewis offers Roosevelt a campaign contribution of $250,000. Replies the politically astute FDR,
No, John, I don't want your check, much as I appreciate it. Just keep it. And I'll call on you if and when any small need arises.
In 1935, FDR turns his attention to the broader aspects of social welfare.
This Social Security measure gives at least some protection to 30 million of our citizens who will reap direct benefits through unemployment compensation, through old age pensions, and through increased services for the protection of children and the prevention of ill health.
FDR's Social Security Act, overwhelmingly passed by Congress in the summer of 1935, provides unemployment and old age pensions as well as child-rearing benefits. The National Association of Manufacturers calls the act the ultimate socialistic control of life and industry.
If, as our Constitution tells us, our federal government was established, among other things, to promote the general welfare, it is our plain duty to provide for that security upon which welfare depends.
Strengthened by favorable legislation and FDR's sweeping victory in 1936, the labor movement introduces a new form of strategy, the sit-down strike. workers occupied plants refuse to move until a settlement is reached.
Labor was having its labor pains. It was just beginning to find its power under the new impetus of favorable legislation and a sympathetic government. It had not quite grown up to such power.
Industrial plants build up arsenals of gas bombs, machine guns, and rifles. The sit-down strikes plague the nation. In Michigan alone, there are 51 strikes in 1 month. In Flint, Michigan, Walter Reuther resists a 44-day siege of United Auto Workers at the Chevrolet plant.
Sit-down strikes are unpopular. Strikers will finally realize that labor cannot get very far if it makes itself unpopular with the bulk of the population in this country.
The struggle in the automobile industry will be fought to a finish. Labor will determine in this issue whether or not collective bargaining, in the accepted sense of the word, will be established in the automobile industry.
Walter Reuther and the United Auto Workers gain recognition by the automotive industry. The last of the basic New Deal acts. The Wages and Hours Act of 1938 establishes minimum wages. It abolishes lockouts. It ends child labor for all time.
The age-long curse of child labor has been lifted. The sweatshop outlawed, and millions of wage earners released from starvation wages and excessive hours of labor. The pattern of a new order of industrial relations is definitely taking shape.
The Hyde Park squire has traveled far since his first visit to a tenement brought the awakening of his social conscience. He has made it possible for organized labor to become a powerful political force. He has brought dignity and acceptance to the labor movement.
Our aim is the advancement of human progress by industrial progress. Ours is the duty to work for that happy consummation when bitterness and distrust shall be replaced by mutual respect.
All right, so, Labor Day is not just about getting deals on appliances or mattresses or cooking out. There's a real history to it, and it's workers demanding a livable wage, a safe workplace environment, some sort of support for them after they retire, that we don't hire children. All those things. It's important. It's very important. That's my soapbox, and I'm going to stick to it. We work, our parents worked, our grandparents worked, our friends work, And as part of that, there are things in place that have been put in place that help support us when we need it. And when that is eroded or seized, that's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. So there you go. There's my soapbox. Okay, so in the meantime, got one more film. Where is this? Yes. This is Foreman discovers motion study. And so this is being told from the man's standpoint. We've celebrated the workers and talked about their plight, but the foreman is concerned about the inefficiency of their workers, and so he learns about motion studies. And we have shown time motion study footage on here. It's people assembling things or pulling parts, putting them together, sorting them out, and then this is all to make things more efficient. So this is Foreman discovers motion study. Enjoy.
The story we are about to see is not necessarily true, but it could be. Probably it's never happened exactly the way we will see it. But in one way or another, it has happened to the foreman in most of the modern manufacturing plants in our country. It has probably happened to many of the foremen in the plants we are looking at now. But for our particular story, let's pick out just one plant and one foreman. Ed Jackson.
Yes, my name's Ed Jackson. This is my department. As you can see, it's clean, well lighted. But most important of all, we got a great bunch of people here. We do a pretty big job together. And I get along with all of them. Well, all but Mrs. Gielgud. She's the most even-tempered person on the line. Always mad. Trouble is, she always seems to be mad at me. But I can't complain. At least I don't have to worry about production in my department. In the last 6 months, I've been able to increase production 54%. That's right, 54%. And it all started when I met up with a box full of candy.
Yes, that's right. A box full of candy. Ed discovered it one night at a foreman's meeting. That's John Howard showing them the box. He's one of the plant engineers, and on this particular night, Howard is going to show the men how to approach the problem of simplifying work. To point out what he has in mind, he needs 3 volunteers for an experimental test. Art Crowell and Joe Hodson stepped up, and with a little help, Ed Jackson decided to join them. The first part of the experiment was for the men, using ordinary woodworking equipment and their own methods, to build identical boxes and fill each box with a cup full of candy. When they were ready to go, they were to make a test run for 15 minutes and see how many boxes they could turn out, while Mr. Howard watched their methods for possible improvement. There was nothing complicated about the box. So with a little figuring, and a few changes, they were ready to go. Results weren't too bad. They'd put out a lot of effort and had made a pretty fair showing. But there were some opportunities for simplifying the job that they hadn't considered. Hadn't considered because they hadn't looked at their job from the point of view of motion economy. So Mr. Howard explained a few of the basic principles of motion economy. He picked ones that could be applied to the experiment. And they all began to see the job in a new light.
Yeah, here was a brand new way to look at the job. Man, we went right to work reorganizing the setup. First thing we did was to rearrange our workplace so as we could spend our time working instead of walking and reaching. And during the next couple of meetings, we made a lot of other improvements, too. Finally, we were ready to make our second run. This time, we didn't get in each other's way. made use of gravity. And we made use of rhythm. No more fighting the work. And the parts were close. No more long reaches. We came up with a jig that did the loading and measuring for us. And this time we were smart enough to leave the tops off the boxes until they were loaded. And no more hunting for the tape. Oh, we had an occasional idle hand, but all in all, we had a pretty good setup. And the boxes piled high. The job sure ran smooth. Looking back on it now, there were other improvements that we could have made. But at the time, we sure were pleased.
Well, for the rest of the training period, Ed Jackson and the other foremen met regularly with John Howard. They examined and tested all of the important principles of motion economy that have been developed over the years. Once they understood these principles and what was behind them, these men took the most important step of all. They brought problems right off the floor of their own departments into the conference room and learned to apply the general principles to their particular problems. And to approach these problems in a systematic manner. By the end of the training period, the men had the subject well in hand.
And that's why I don't have to worry about production. I learned to look at my job through new eyes, and it sure has paid off. Production has gone up, and effort has gone down. Yeah, things are running pretty smooth these days. That is, except for Mrs. Gielgud. But then I guess a fella asks for it when he hires his own mother-in-law.
I love it. A toy company. What was that? Hasbro? Yeah. Mattel. That's what it was. It was Mattel. Love it. I love assembly line footage. Now, of course, the downside of this is that we just can't get our employees to be as efficient as machines. So maybe we should just have machines. Well, machines are not going to buy Mattel toys. They're not going to buy cars. They're not going to buy anything. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you have to pay people if your business is based on people buying things from you. Those people have to be paid. They're not going to get the money, excuse me. So I think about that often with robotics. I think about that often with AI. The fact that, it's replacing jobs, and those people aren't finding other jobs that are paying competitively. So you're diminishing your, I don't know, I'm sure I have a film about it. But here's my soapbox. But I do appreciate, it's like, why Skip? Why are you working on Labor Day? Well, doing this show is not work. I consider this to be something I enjoy doing, showing these films to you. And I appreciate you watching and also contributing. Jeremy, thank you for donating for the horse-drawn fire trucks. And thanks everybody for commenting. Thanks for watching. Other ways you can support us via the Super Thanks button is one way. Also ko-fi.com/avgeeks, that buys us coffee. Patreon.com/avgeeks also helps us pay for storage units and pay for shelving, etc. All those things are important for us to maintain our film archive, but also watching things helps us. Right now, thanks to Brock Lesnar, the wrestler, I am making several hundreds of dollars off of the film Farm Family in the Winter, because somebody thinks, well, a lot of people think that the thumbnail is that guy, that wrestler. And it is not. So, YouTube is so weird. But thanks for watching, and we'll be back again tomorrow. I'm scanning some great films behind us that we'll watch tomorrow. And so I'm excited to show them to you. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Get some relaxing time. Honor the workers in your lives, your family, your friends, and people you don't know. And we will see you tomorrow. Everybody take care.